welcome back to Chen Design. Today I would like to show you how to use the Rhinos to make this two-tone channel set gentleman ring. Are you ready? Let's get started. We are going to start it to arrange the stone. This is a 4mm round stone. You can, if you like to know how to make the stone, I have a video for you on the right top corner. Or if you just simply want to download for this demonstration, you can also follow the link below in the description and sign up for the newsletter. Then you will guide you to the link for download. Now I'm going to go to the front view, set it up my ring size. I'm going to set it up like most of the demonstration for 16mm, and you want to set it up for exactly of your ring size. Then I'm going to moving this one on the left, making a copy, and then I'm gonna tilt it and move it down. I will suggest to have the distance in between here is roughly about 0.1 to 0.2mm, so you don't want the stone to be touching. And then you want to move it another one to the side, and again this one need to be tilted down a little bit more. Arrange the distance and or how you like to have the stone be arranged. And then we are going to use the mirror because it's going to be symmetrical, and I'm going to bring up there. Alright, so I just tweak a little bit more for what I like them to be arranged. The second thing I wanted to do is creating the profile. So I'm going to coming over to the front view and make sure I lock my grid snap. And I wanted something like coming over here, and you want exactly the same number on the right side and move it up a little bit. So this will be the curve. We wanted to have this curve. If you are going to cast it, make sure you have it over the table. It's because it's much easier if you have enough than not enough. Okay, and then I'm going to working on the bottom of the ring shank. Let's go ahead to use the arc, and we can set it up for whatever how thick you want. Holding your shift, then you will draw this half round. I usually like to have the bottom of a ring shank taper it down a little bit. It's just more graceful. After that, I'm gonna use the curve. You have extended curve, and from the arc to this to the point, and you want to go from here to here, and make sure that your all snap is on, and you also want to go from this point to this point. Alright, and then you can now reposition your stone if you like the curve better than where your stone is sitting in, but I'm going to stay with whatever I have right now. Then we can go ahead to join it. You can still open turn on the control point if you do like it to get a little bit closer, and we might want to go like this, or we might want to go, you know, coming out a little bit. You can still tweak it if you want to. Alright, so now I have this. I actually like to giving a small fillet, maybe just one, and go from here to here and here to here. So it's just much smoother instead of a sharp angle. I'm going to pick up this one and have it offset because the second one outside will be a little bit smaller. Alright, so now we have this. The first curve that I have, I'm going to use the solid extruded planar curve straight, and I want to make sure it's on the both side, and I want to make sure it is over my stone for whatever thickness that I'm going to have. The second one, I'm going to do exactly the same, but this one you want to stick it out just a little bit, and depends on how thick you want, you can do whichever that work for you. Okay, so then I will have something like this. I need to cut where the stone seat is open, so I'm going to draw a straight line, snapping into the 0, and I want to coming over roughly like this. And now because this is symmetrical, I wanted to mirror to the other side for something like this. Let me hiding this so you know what I'm doing here for my curve. So basically I need to make a color, and the color need to cut it out those space inside, and I want to make it an arc from this point go to this point. And then I also wanted to keep some distance on the bottom, so I'm going to use the offset And to set it up, maybe 1.3 millimeter from the bottom. So the structure will be really solid on the bottom to sit on your finger. And then I'm going to use the trim command to trim the extra that I don't need. So this is this, and make sure you join them. Now with this one, and turn it back to whatever I have there, I'm gonna use the Extrude the Curve straight, and I want to extrude it to something like this. The stone will sit inside of the metal, and this is the area that we want to have it left. Let's go ahead to bowling unit this first, and we want a bowling difference this one out of this one. So then we have that opening cutting out. Let's give it a little fillet first. We are going to using the fillet command, and we want something quite small like 0.35. It's just looking much better for the rendering, and want to try over here look nice. So I'm going to try the other side, and they look alright, and let's double check it's a closed solid polished surface. And if that is looking good, I'm also going to work on here. Inside I might want to do it just a little bit smaller, maybe 0.2. It's fine, and we are going to continue here, and coming back on this edges as well for a 0.2 fillet. Alright, double check if it's still closed solid polished surface. Okay, so once we have that, we are going to cut it out inside of a ring shank. So let's go with the solid, extrude it straight, and make sure it's on the both side. And we can use the bowling difference, this one out of this one. Okay, so now we have the ring. I don't really particularly like the pattern going all the way to the bottom. I actually want to have a solid piece, but we can address that later. Let's go ahead to make that two-tone piece over here. So for that piece, I'm going to making on the side. Let's go ahead to use the conic corner from the rectangle, and I want to starting from the center, just snapping over here. And I want this piece a little bit bigger than the ring shank that I have, so I'm going to make it longer than the width and coming back a little bit to make it a little bit rounder. So once I have that, I'm gonna using the gumball, holding my shift and tap the Alt key to making a copy. So then I have something like this. I don't need so thick like that, just gonna use the gumball 1D scale. Then I will have something like this. For this two curve, let me turn them into the red color. I'm going to split this guy by this curve and this curve by this curve. So then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 different curves there, right? And they all connected over there. To making a surface, I can simply just using the loft command. I want to loft 1, 2, 3, and 4. So then I will get something like this. Make sure that I want to close the loft, so I have something like that. You can choose to be normal, to be tight, or you can choose to be straight, or choose to be loose. So up to you, whatever that you like to do. Then I will have a very smooth piece over there. If this is getting really puffy for you, and you don't actually not having too much of a control, this is too oval looking, you have other way to do it. So let's give it a try. I'm going to join this piece together, and I'm gonna coming over here. I have a transform, orient it to point, and I want to orient it from this to here. Make sure that we can make a copy, and we do want to scale 3D, and then we're gonna go from here to here. Alright, so let me hide this one first so it's not confusing you. Another way that we can do is we can use the sweep tool. So you got rail 1, rail 2, and you go from this point to this cross section and go into this point again, and you will get this piece. Notice that they are similar curve, but they can have completely different result like that. Another thing that we can play with is I'm going to split with this guy. So then I have this curve here, this curve here, this curve. there, and we can play with another way. It's called curve network. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the same direction, and this one in the other direction, and so we'll get this one. So you can see the same curve or similar curve, you can create 3 different things over there. So I'm going to use this guy, just need to make it a little bit puffier. So let me hide the rest of them here. Moving this one back to close to our ring. And I'm going to position here and turning into an angle. Depends on how much you want them to stick it out. And I may want this sitting somewhere like this. So let's take a look on the render view and see if that look fine for us. And I also like to have a design with some sort of a groove in the middle. So we're gonna come back into our ghost view. I basically wanted to extract the ISO curve on this surface, and I simply just want to snap in somewhere close to here and somewhere close to here. Alright, so now I have this curve. To make sure I want to join them together, simply I just want to give it a pipe. So I'm gonna pipe about this size, and I'm going to use the Boolean difference. We're gonna difference out this one out of this one. So then we will have the groove there. And if you take a look on the render, this is really sharp cutting. It doesn't look nice on the rendering. So I want to give a tiny fillet. So let's try a fillet for 0.1 millimeter. And we're gonna pick up this edges first. Alright, so you look alright there. We might want to do a little bit bigger. So let me try the 0.2. So that looked nice there. And so we can trim the extra in the inside of a ring shank later. Okay, so now that's dealing with the bottom of the ring shank. I really don't like this ring shank over there to continue to the bottom. So I would like to do is to trim off the bottom of the ring shank. So let me draw a line. Simply whatever is inside of that two-tone piece there, that will be fine. And we are going to mirror to the other side. And having those two to trim, and then I'm going to create another cross section there, and I'm gonna use a rectangle with the corner that stay with the center and snapping center into anywhere there. I wanted this ring shanks just slightly thinner than that two-tone piece, and coming more like this shape over here. And next thing that we wanted to do is kind of tilt it in the same angle as the cut that we have and bring it over here. And I also want to make another one again snapping into the center, and I would like to have right here, and depends on how taper you want it to have on the bottom, and coming back like this. Okay, so now for the bottom one, we want to move it into the right place as well. So let me move it here to here, and again moving this midpoint to this midpoint here. And if that appears to be too tall, we can move it down a little bit, something like this. Okay, so everything is fine. Now let's go ahead to mirror that to the other side. Then we'll have something like this. Let me hiding this one so we can see that curve. This one, and this one in red color. Okay, so we're gonna use the command sweep to rail. This is your rail 1, rail 2, cross section 1, 2, and 3. And moving all my arrow to inside of a ring shank, and make sure they are facing the same direction. So like this one need to be flipped, and then so we'll get something like this. If you don't like that curve there, you can click on maintain high, so it will coming straight down. That's turning back to the piece over there. It looked like the bottom is a little bit too thick. I simply just want to 1D scale down for something like that. Okay, and if that look nice, let's go ahead to mirror that two-tone piece to the other side. So now let's go ahead to using the solid extruded straight again for inside of the ring shank. This time we want to trim it off, this guy and this guy out of this one. Double check with the render view and see if everything worked the way that you wanted to have. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Whether you are a beginner or you are more advanced jewelry CAD designer, there are 3 things you need to know to boost your jewelry CAD design skill. I have a free webinar for you and the link is in the description below. Hope you like it and thank you for watching. I'll see you next.